You can tell her, you can tell her anything. She's a real good listener. You can tell her anything.
Yo, what's up, confidant? It's your girl, Father T, Daddy Longlegs. You know me. This is You Can Tell Me Anything, the podcast where comedians confess something they want to get off their chest. And I'm so excited for my guest today. He's calling in from New York City. Since we're in the quarantine, all of my guests, I'm like, remote. Yeah, let's get the whole world on here. But I'm really excited to have him on the show. He's super funny. He was a Comedy Central digital creator and regular at the Comedy Cellar. And also made a really cool interactive short film called We Need to Talk. It's Ryan Beck.
Hi, Teresa.
Do you like that
Thank
intro?
you for having me. Oh, yeah, that was great. That was a great
like,
intro.
There's too many things. No, I really like that short film. I know it was years ago, but I remember.
Yeah, I was really
it.
proud of that. And then we released it right around the time that the 2016 election heated up, and nobody wanted content then. It was the opposite of quarantine.
Yeah, I just rebranded and re-released.
Yeah, we should put it out now.
Before we get too far, I like to start by asking for a good confession, just to start on a positive note. Is there something good you want to confess?
Well, this is a confession because if she were anybody else, it would be embarrassing. But I started a podcast with my wife and Grace Eubank, and she is truly so funny and charming. You know her.
Yeah, she's been in videos before. I feel like
she helped on that interactive video too. So, and she's in my Glacier video. But anyway, Grace is wonderful, and she came up with this awesome idea for a podcast, and we have plenty of time together to do it now. So
that's a great way too to like add structure to just like limitless time with someone. Because no matter how much you like someone, it's like just unstructured time can feel very overwhelming, I feel like.
Yeah, our lives are very structured. I mean, we have like kept it like a routine. We like wake up at the right times, and we're not staying up too late. And we, what else are we doing? We're like, well, now we have the podcast, so we have like a release day, and we have a day that we have to record, and then I spend the rest of the week trying to figure out how to use editing software. So that's been a real journey for us.
What's it called so people can find it?
Oh, yeah, I should say the name. It's called Falling in Love with My Wife. And
that was her idea? I love that.
Yes, and so basically the concept of the show is that we're going through, there's a while back, there's this New York Times article that was like the 36 questions that lead to love. You remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So we are going through week to week answering question one by one.
That's so cool.
And it's been it's been a wonderful experiment to find out that if getting to know each other will ruin our marriage.
Well, it's interesting because I remember the article and always thinking like, oh, I wonder, like it'd be cool to try that, but also insane to actually meet a stranger and do this.
Yeah, and then propose that as an idea. Like, right.
Yeah. But I think that's cool that because you guys obviously like know each other, but are you discovering new things that you didn't know?
We are, right? She didn't know I had an eye patch when I was a kid. There's another confession for you.
Wait, when you said that, I don't know if I knew that, but for some reason I was just like, yeah, I knew that, but and I don't know if you've made jokes about
it.
It's
very believable.
It just felt like it made sense.
Yeah. But I had this lazy eye as a preschooler, and they tried to fix it, and they did fix it, thankfully. But you have to put the eye patch over the good eye, and then you just let this child run out into the world. But nobody cares at that age, right? There's just I was I'm a little pirate, and I'd run around.
Aww.
And I could still do all my sports and stuff, so it was fine.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I had an eye patch. I learned what did I learn about her recently? She was singing me songs that she had written as a kid.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
That was pretty fun. I've also learned, I knew this one already, but she broke up a puppeteer's marriage, but I feel like that's maybe
she broke up a marriage?
She broke up a marriage, kind of. Not intentionally, obviously, but that's, I feel like she might need to come on your show and
oh yeah, maybe. Well, we'll get her on, and then she can plug your podcast. That's so great. I love that. But I also want to say my dog has a lazy eye, and maybe I should put an eye patch on him. I didn't know you could fix that.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Wushu, yeah, he does. I call it a wonky eye, but I think it's a lazy eye. It's just,
I'm gonna have to go through his pictures.
Yeah,
again.
Some photos is way more prominent. But that's no, I love that idea for a podcast. That's super fun.
It has been really fun.
I just made this joke on Twitter, but it is true, so I'm not just saying this. But my favorite genre of podcast is when couples host podcasts. it just feels like...
That definitely sounds like sarcasm.
No, because a lot of people say they hate it, but honestly, like, especially when, my friends, Georgia and Hampton, you might know them. They're both comedians out in LA. Mm-hmm. They both just started a podcast as well. And I just love listening to couples, especially like very stable, happy couples. Like, not like they just started dating and they're like, let's do this for the clout. Like, people were like, we know each other. Because it's just like, mom and dad are getting along, and that's really nice.
Yeah, we're definitely mom and dad getting along vibe with our podcast.
Yeah.
It's been pretty fun, but it's like there is a certain amount of shame, which is why I'm here to confess that I started a podcast with my wife, among other things, embarrassing things. But it's like there is like a little bit of a stigma, I think. One, there's a stigma to anybody having a podcast now.
Totally,
because we can't do anything, for the good of the world or our careers at the same time without being, called a narcissist or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then, with my wife, it's like I think people just want couples to meet other people, but it's like no one has time for that.
Yeah, why would you?
I can't make a friend and then schedule a weekly thing with them. Are you kidding? I'm in my 30s. It's not happening.
I'm a fan, and hopefully there's other people like me out there. But speaking of, I guess, routine, I do like to ask about, because this is sort of inspired by like when I started going to therapy and how nice it was to just get things off my chest. Do you have any experience with therapy, or what's your, what do you do when you feel like you need to talk to people or get stuff off your chest?
Well, we had a family therapist when I was growing up, and we had a therapist the whole time.
Wait, like your whole family went in?
Yeah, she was
gotcha.
So my sister was adopted when I was 11, and she was 12, and my brother was 13. And so it's like there's a lot going on in that time in your life for everybody, and then like this new situation and everything, and the family's changing and like shifting and growing. And so we had a family therapist that would come, I guess, like every 2 weeks probably.
Oh, gotcha.
And we would all talk to her and whatever else. But then in my adult life, I haven't gone to any therapy. I've just rudely dumped on all of my friends for the last decade or more. So thank you for being my friend.
No, that is also important. And again, there is no right or wrong answer. I always feel like I ask that because for me, I came to it so late in life, but I do think like everyone has a different relationship with it. But
I've only got positive understandings of it, but I just haven't done it myself. And I'm also like a little bit, I don't know, some of these people are on sliding scales, and I feel like if I didn't, like, I don't have health insurance right now. Oh, I'm on my wife's, but like I don't know how to figure all that out anyway. But if somebody's on a sliding scale, I'm always like, okay, so do I have to, if I pay more, they're going to do a better job, right? Because I know how I work. If someone paid me the lowest, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to do a good job being a therapist today because they give me $5 or whatever.
I never thought about it like that. I guess that's probably true. They are all human, but
But I think that my inherent lack of trust in other people's professionalism is maybe something I need to talk to a therapist about. So.
And, I was gonna say that sounds like there's something there.
Right.
But also very self-aware. Well, because I feel like you're also very just having known you for years, like you're a positive person. You seem very self-aware. So that is like, to me, that's why I'm surprised you've never gone to therapy, because it seems like you've done a lot of self-reflection. Do you do that on your own?
Alone in my room. Say that again?
Or like self-reflection and that sort of thing. Do you do that on your own?
I mean, I definitely am an introspective person. That's kind of why I found comedy in the first place. It was because I never really felt like I fit in. So I was like, well, I like making people laugh. That's the thing that like makes me feel good and also makes me feel like I have a purpose and a place and like a way to connect with people. And so that was kind of like the genesis why I even started to live this life. And then like I don't know, I think it's just I had a lot of friends die when I was younger.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So like in my teenagers and stuff, people die, and then it kind of like
while you were like your age, like kids in school.
Yeah, like I had a couple friends from high school died, and then like a mentor of mine who was just a few years older died like a year after that, and then some more friends and so it's like and then you have grandparents and people in your family pass away and stuff, and anytime that there's like a big shock to the system, I think everybody listening kind of understand it. It's like there's a moment that you take and you kind of like reflect and you think about your own mortality and you think about the things that you're doing with your life and whatever. But I had so many of those experiences in my very formative years that I feel like it impacted me in a good way. There's different ways to take that, but
sure.
It impacted me in a good way where I strive to not be a dick. You know what I mean? It's like just try to be introspective and feel and understand when I'm overreacting or whatever else. So
wow, that's like very powerful, because I think what you said about like everyone takes it differently is right. I mean, there is no right or wrong, and of course it sounds like you went through some really rough stuff, which would be understandable if you had become angry or reserved. But it sounds like you use that as a way to like evolve, which is really cool. And then without like just totally on your own. So I mean, that speaks a lot, I think.
Well, it's never on your own, but yeah, I guess it's like just no professional people.
Yeah.
But it's also like coming from the Midwest, it's like, it's still, I mean, less so now, but it still is kind of like taboo almost. So.
Oh, therapy? Yeah, that's interesting.
Kinda,
I don't know
it's
too
just
much about, I've heard, it's like different area. Like I know New York, it's so like, go, everyone should go. It's almost cool. Like the popular kids go. And then the Midwest, I haven't spent much time there. So it's kind of like culturally taboo to
It's different. It's just different. It's a lot of like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get to work kind of idea of manliness. Not like it's
sure.
Across the board, but it's definitely like part of
the culture.
The way I was brought up. So
is it different for men and women there? Like, is it more acceptable for a woman to be going to therapy, or is it in general?
I'm
just
not sure.
People don't talk
I really
about
don't know, because I think it's harder to do anything as a woman. I'm not saying that to like even be fun.
No.
I mean, it is funny, but it's like if you go to therapy as a woman,
sure.
in some places people probably like, oh, she's nuts or whatever. People are quick to name call women more often than men.
That's the thing. Like when I'm like when I watch Mad Men. I mean, I didn't grow up in the 50s here, and my parents are immigrants. So it's not like I have that much. Most of my understanding of the 50s white America was from movies, but they send their wives to therapy when they're not behaving. Like that's kind of the thing.
Yeah. That's like a thing they would like. Women would get like locked up for their life because the guy didn't want to be with them anymore, and they would just call him hysterical.
Yeah.
So there's some pretty dark stuff.
Damn. Well, okay. Speaking of that, is there anything you want to tell me?
Oh, is this time for the big confession?
Yeah.
I feel like I've already confessed to more. Well, not confessed, but just had some like more interesting subjects. But my confession, I was like, no one knows this about me unless I talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I don't like broadcast this too much, but Teresa,
okay.
People are going to think this is so lame, but I'm a huge fan of everything Shonda Rhimes does. And it doesn't feel like there's too many men in their 30s that are like true Shonda stans.
Does she have a name for her fans? Like
Well, Shondaland is the production company.
Yeah.
That's Grey's Anatomy, Station 19, How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal. She also wrote Britney Spears' Crossroads movie. So
I did
Shondaland
know that. That's
is
right.
all-encompassing.
Oh my god. That's so funny. So you're a true fan. You're like a stan from the beginning.
I'm really into Shondaland, and I'm just like, it started because my wife was like, Grey's Anatomy's good, you should watch it. And I watched one, and then truly I watched like 12 or 13 seasons whenever I started this, like in a row. It was like a 2-3 week process where I just kept watching all of this, and I got so into it. And now anytime they make a spin-off or whatever, I'm like all in, all the way.
There was just something. Did she just have something? I feel like I saw on Twitter.
Yes. How to Get Away with Murder had the series finale, and it was great. They did a great job. It was so much better than the Game of Thrones season finale, if anybody watched that, because that is just like...
Everything's better than the Game of Thrones series
they
finale.
Screwed it up. They didn't do anything that people wanted or like could like get behind, right? And this made a bunch of big moves in the series finale, and like everything felt justified and like within the character and like the right thing that would happen in the world. And so that I appreciated it, but then they also had like the makeup. They had like old age makeup for a couple of the actors.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, Teresa, this was crazy. It was so bad.
It was bad? Okay.
It was so bad. You know how Mandy Moore looks great on This Is Us, and it's like she's old, and I don't know if anyone
I haven't watched it. I think a lot of people watch that show, but yeah.
I love network TV. Maybe is the real confession.
A lot of people do. I'm just a weirdo. Yeah,
I hope so. But it's like this old age makeup was like just so bad. It was like, what's going on here? This can't be the way they end it.
That's funny. But okay, so I think I misunderstood because when you said it was better than Game of Thrones, I thought you were like it was good. But you're saying it was a bad series finale.
No, the makeup was bad.
Oh, just the makeup.
The series finale was great.
Gotcha.
But also Game of Thrones was like I loved Game of Thrones, and then I saw like 2 seasons out when they didn't have the books anymore. I was like, these fellows don't know what really fucked
it up. I almost feel like this might be a conspiracy theory, but I feel like sometimes...
Ooh, I like this.
It's not that juicy, but sometimes with shows like that, I feel like they try to fuck it up because they want to, like, redeem... like 5 years from now, they can come back and be like, we're going to redo it. And for all the fans who felt like they didn't, get what they wanted, here's your chance. And then you just get to make another season of a show that you fucked up.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It was so big, and then it was just so... It fell so far.
It was so... Yeah. I mean, and not just for, like, fandom, like Star Wars reasons where, like, I don't like this new character, but for reasons where it's like, that's not justified based on what you've set up.
Just bad. Yeah, it was just bad. So that's my big confession, Teresa. I love soap operas and Shondaland. Not soap operas in the daytime, but the Shondaland.
I definitely have follow-up questions. So you said Grace introduced you to this.
Grace got me into it, but then I really took the ball and started running with it.
How early in your relationship? Was this like getting to know each other? She's like, you should watch this, or like at what point?
No, I was already we were already living together.
Okay.
And so, but we probably only been living together like a few months at that time. It was probably like, it had to be 2016 or something, early 2016 that I did this.
So it was more like she recommended it as like, I think you'll like it, or it was like, you guys are going to do this together.
I think you'll like it, and it's so good, and all this, the way people talk about TV and movies and stuff. And so I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And then I found that I not only liked it, but I really liked it.
So then you went and watched it by yourself. It wasn't a thing you guys like did together.
No, we did not watch it. Like, she did not rewatch it together. It was like me sitting down to watch my stories of Derek Shepherd and Mark Sloan, and I'm like, who's better, McSteamy or McDreamy? And I'm having my own little party in my house. So.
I think I gotta watch Grey's Anatomy. I feel like it's so in the zeitgeist. Everyone refers to it. I remember when it was popular, people talked about it. I don't know why I think because I didn't grow up with cable, like, I was so used to missing cultural shows that I just let them go. But now I'm like, I could just put in a little effort and watch everything.
It's good. You got time now. You got time.
Yeah. And I do love, what's it called? Why can't, Susan, Sandra Oh. She's on there.
Sandra Oh,
that's her
she's
big
great.
thing, right? Yeah.
There's so much. It's great. And it's just completely ridiculous at times, too. Which is like, that's what you want.
It's funny that you were like, no, I watch this by myself, because that is a thing. Like, speaking of like couples and cliches, I feel like that's a thing that maybe more like in the dating phase, but people will like try to watch a show together, or even like show them a show you like and rewatch it with them so you can watch their reaction to your favorite episodes. I feel like more guys do that.
I'm the worst to watch something like with that I've already seen, and like I wanted her to see Jurassic Park. She hadn't seen Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay, the original.
Yes, and I love that movie
so good.
so much. I've seen it more times than I could even if I guessed. I wouldn't know how many times I've watched it. So I'm like obsessed with this thing. But the whole time that I sat down and had Grace watch this movie, I just kept like going like, "Hey, watch this. This is good. Hey, watch, this is good right here. Hold on, look right here. Did you see that? And she's like, no, you're talking over the whole movie." So
that's how you know like something's about to happen, is the person who's seen it already is like watching you, and you're like, okay, clearly something's about to happen.
I completely ruined the experience for her.
I love Jurassic Park, man.
Oh, it's so good, but I completely stole it from her. Like, I ruined what I loved. So,
it's okay. I think Jurassic Park is a funny one to bring up now because, I mean, not to get into like anything too current events, but like when you watch that and you're like, oh, that would never happen. But then with coronavirus, it's just like people are saying like, don't do this, and everyone's still doing it. I'm like, this is the plot of Jurassic Park in a way where it's like the dinosaurs are killing people. Okay, I think it's under control. Let's do it again. It's like,
they just keep making it. Yeah, they just keep making the parks, and everyone's like, "That's so stupid. That's unbelievable." And now it's like we're just like people are demanding to go to Red Lobster and deciding that a pandemic is over, and you're like, people are gonna die because you want to eat inside of a Red Lobster. What's happening right now?
Yeah, it's like I totally believe that you would go take a picture of the Indominus Rex, despite like 5 movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I do love this confession because I know you said it was lame. I don't think it's lame at all. I think people's tastes actually really are a fun way to see their personality. And I think Shonda Rhimes is an interesting one because, I mean, obviously she's so successful and so great, but she has like a very wide range, I think. So it's not that you liked one show but not another, but you're just like hooked on everything she does.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so, but it's, again, it's like not a thing that like straight white men in their 30s really. I'm not the target demo. So there is some like, what? You know, when I do like bring up, people like talk about their shows or whatever. And, my dog walked in. So, I mean, I don't know. That's why it was like, this will be like a fun confession.
Yeah.
It is true.
It's also like just even the, like even that like you're saying like, oh, it's not what people like, but then it isn't. That's so interesting that we have to consider that. Not that it's not affecting your choice, but that you had a moment where you're like, oh, I realize that like people don't expect this. Like,
yeah, it's definitely weird. It's definitely strange. And it feels like a bit, you know, but it is not. It is, I'm all in.
But what is with that? Because I think that is a real thing where there's a certain, like if I said like, oh, a comedian who likes Rick and Morty, I feel like you would know exactly the kind of person, you know, that I'm talking about. And it's like, yeah, that's a great show. It's not anything, it's not a knock on anybody, but there are personalities, you know, or someone who watches The Bachelor. So, but what is that like that we categorize and put these expectations on like there's pressure to know a show because the community you're in is like into it. Like, have you ever watched a show because of that? Or you're just like, no, miss me with that. I'm not interested.
Well, I don't know. There's so many, like, I think I had like, oh gosh, what was something that we watched that I had kind of like, I was a little bumped by the community before I watched it. Oh no, I'm making work for you editing this.
Oh no, it's all good. What is the wait? What did you say? Oh,
I'm trying to think of like.
What's the community? Is it like more like dudes or like racist?
No,
or, I don't know.
So there's like a Bachelor community, but Grace and I watched The Bachelor for like one season. We thought it was fun, but then we kind of like dipped out of that. But there's not too many like. I feel like I don't know. I'm not even making any sense anymore.
No, that's okay. I mean, it was a weird question without a real answer. Because it's just the idea. I guess Rick and Morty is one I think of that people would.
Yeah, they have like a ravenous fan base, right? And there's like a couple of things like that, but I can't even think of an example right now.
Okay, that's okay. I'm curious too if you're into the drama of Shonda Rhimes because I'm trying to think what she like. My like confession is that if anyone listening who's like, she doesn't seem to know a lot. I obviously know who Shonda Rhimes is. I'm very well aware of the shows. I've never watched a show all the way through of Shonda Rhimes. But then again, I've only finished Mad Men like 2 years ago. So I'm like, it's not because I don't like her stuff or that I'm not interested. But
what is it about Shonda Rhimes that I like is what you're asking me.
Yeah.
But I remember exactly what I was trying to think of from earlier.
Okay, what was it?
The Wire. The fans of The Wire are so bold that they like, this is the greatest TV show. If you don't like this, if you don't like the pacing, if you think it's boring, then you're a moron. You know, it's like you have to be all in watching The Wire, and I could not have found that like less accessible.
Yeah, if you start by negging the people you want to watch the show, probably not a good place to start.
Right. So that's like exactly like the Wire has like bullies for fan base, I feel, you know.
Yeah.
And that was something that I've never was able to get into because of the way that people were like all about it.
That's fair. I made that mistake on first day of film school because I didn't grow up like really a film buff. Still probably not. But I enjoy good movies now, and I've been able to see them more just through, you know, education. But I got to film school and they did the thing where they like say your favorite movie and everyone was saying like Fellini or whatever. And I was like, that's your favorite movie? Really? And then my favorite movie growing up, which I'm not proud of, but it really was Zoolander. Like I just loved.
I watched that 4 times in the theater. Yes, it was so funny
to me. And it's like, what is a favorite movie to a 10-year-old? You know, like it's just the movie that you enjoy the most and you quote the most. So I would say Zoolander to a point where it's like I was too old to really. I guess probably wasn't my favorite movie, but you just stick to it. And first day of film school, everyone's going around and I say Zoolander, and everyone's like, "What the fuck? Like, who are you?" And that's when I was like, "Oh, I gotta pick a new favorite. I gotta pick a new favorite movie." That's how dumb that is.
No, you didn't, Teresa. You didn't need to do that. You fucking were true to yourself. And all these people saying Fellini or like, okay, yeah, what like a camera movement or something, or you want, or you like people thinking that you're smart. Your favorite movie. Because someone's
like Casablanca. I'm like, these are all great movies, but like, is that your favorite? Like, I will, if you ask me to list movies I like, I mean, yeah, there's like great filmmakers in that list. But the one that I want to watch on a rainy day when I'm sad, like.
Yeah, those are the fun ones. Those are the favorites. Apollo 13, Jurassic Park, these exciting movies.
Yeah, so I'm with you on Don't Feel Shame. Okay, I want.
Yeah. So, what is it that I like about? Shonda
what
Rhimes?
Is it that you're drawn
Let's
to?
get down to brass tacks. Everybody is sexy. That's number one. Number two, that one's a little bit of a joke, but everyone is very sexy. That's
I have seen a bit of Scandal, and I do remember it just feeling it's like very charged and like it's like high stakes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a soap opera. Like it's like truly like they pull. You know, casting from like other soap operas and stuff. It's like these are like incredibly attractive people who have sex at work all the time. And then there's like gruesome injuries in the world of Grey's Anatomy and somewhat on the Fireman show, Station 19. There's like gruesome injuries and there's like interesting problems, and then they all figure it out, and then it's like really dramatic, and then people have like these like goldfish memories where they don't even like you know, they like move on from problem to problem, and then they like, for you, like as a fan, you like start to forget that like, oh, this person that is like dated this person 4 times already, and they broke up because of like true traumas, like miscarriages and like murders and like deaths and a plane crash and all this different kind of stuff, and then they're like dating again, and you're like, what in the world are they thinking? Get out of there, you know?
Oh my god!
And it's you just get so sucked in because it's like everything is real and played real and then swept away. Like it just moves so fast and it's so crazy that it's just really fun. It's just really fun.
Interesting that that's what you mentioned, because I sometimes think about that, like with reality TV too, but also working entertainment. Like we are like I do think the lives of like, I'm not even like a, you know, really like a public persona, but just the idea of like someone who's like working in a public job does become more heightened. And then we also start to feel like when things happen that are dramatic, that feel like the movies, you also feel like, oh, that's totally normal. And then you do start acting like, especially if you're a writer and you're writing storylines that are high stakes, you start living that way a little bit. I wonder, like, do you feel to you it's an escape, like or do you also feel like for you it's like, oh, like this increases the excitement of your actual life, like the choices and things you make?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely find like I got really pumped. Like I had true emotions of excitement, and I mean, we're in quarantine right now, and like there's not too many opportunities to actually like really get excited right now. And so when it was Thursday and there was not only the season finale of the Station 19 show, which I really like, and then the How to Get Away with Murder one, which Grace and I just buzzed right through and caught up and like really enjoyed it. Like I was so excited to sit down and watch 2 hours of television on ABC, and I was like, whose mother am I right now? Like why am I so excited to watch soaps on a Thursday night?
It is funny that it is a soap the way you say that, but then it's like I don't think of it like that's not how it is a soap opera, but we separate it from like the daytime soap operas. But
right, yeah, it's not like a glossy, fuzzy lens kind of.
It's
like
just more well
half
written.
out, yeah.
What's the because when I think about like what's the difference
Well, their
between a
budget's
soap opera?
huge.
Yeah.
It's like
True.
it's primetime television, but it is 100% soap operas.
That's how I feel about CW shows. Like I do think I love it. I love a teen soap, and they are just soap operas for teens, but they're done more like with. There's always magic, and there's always like. It's just different.
Different.
Even when they're not supposed to be magic for some by season 3, somebody has psychic powers, and you're like, what? Why? What's going on?
Riverdale's like that exact thing where it's like it started off and it was like, oh, it's like a murder mystery, and then like by the end there's like vampires and shit, and you're like, what are you doing?
I had to stop watching basically when they started doing like the Stranger Things storyline. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I fell out of that real quick. I couldn't get behind that one, but
I just like that the Sprouse twins were on, or one of the Sprouse twins is on it, and I still don't know which.
Oh yeah, he's
Cole,
Jughead, right?
Yeah. But they're both, I think, they're one of the twins. His brother was dating, or maybe still is, a model, Barbara Palvin, who I used to follow. And when I saw them post a picture together, she looks kind of like him. They're all hot. This is not like a dig, but they just have generic like hot person face. You know, like, so I was like, they could also be triplets, but they're a couple, which I think is really funny.
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, I'm very happy that my wife and I don't look like each other. That's always strange. It's like when you have like brother-sister couples.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, this is uncomfortable for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, you froze, but I can still hear you. Can you still hear me?
I can see. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. It's all good. You're just frozen and you're smiling. It's okay. It doesn't look like
you're
good. Mad, but okay, that threw me off. What was I gonna say? I feel like, okay. So now this is over. Are there any more Shonda shows to watch?
Well, right now it's like everything's over for right now, and then it's like just waiting for things to come back. So it's like that's what's so, this coronavirus has really screwed up things for a lot of people, and mostly from my, from my world, it's like. Are you really gonna? They halted production of Grey's Anatomy. What am I gonna do?
They're not still making Grey's Anatomy, are they?
Oh, they are 100% still making
really?
Grey's Anatomy, Teresa. My goodness, is it? Yes.
I had no idea. I thought
going.
This was a show that ended.
It is in its 400th season, and it is great. There's great stuff going on.
Wow. Okay, I really do need to go. I thought this was like one of those shows like The Sopranos where it was good and it's over and you can still watch it.
No, it's still going in force. For me, it is still good.
Damn. I feel like, people are going to come for me in my mentions for not knowing this stuff, but
we'll see.
I guess I'll just start and get to know it. Are there characters when you watch it that you relate to the most? Like, are you mostly in the protagonist's eyes? Or, I mean, it sounds like everyone kind of is flawed on these shows, but also you want to root for is the idea.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all so nutty, and they're all having so much more sex than I've ever had in my entire life that I'm like, I can't identify with any of these people. So it's just like I just watch them. Like a real voyeur, like a real creep. I just sit at home and I judge them for their weird decision making, and I love it. I love it.
That's so funny. When you write, because you also write, do you write like narrative?
I write so
stuff?
Much, Teresa.
Okay, you do.
I'm tired of it. I'm ready to.
Well,
I'm not going to stop it, but it's like, my God, how much can a person write? And then you got to rewrite stuff, and that sucks because you have to delete half of it because none of it's good. And then you write more. I'm losing my mind.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but but I'm sure it is all part of the process. Because obviously, I know you do like write stand up and jokes and stuff.
Lots of stand up.
But when
sorry. Ask your question.
Well,
I'm gonna stop interrupting you.
No. My question was gonna be because like you watch these high drama, high stakes shows. Do you feel like that influences your writing as well, or is it very much like compartmentalized? Like this is what I do for entertainment.
No. I view this completely as entertainment. There is, because I don't want to make that kind of TV, and I think that's why, for one of the reasons, this is a revelation I'm having right now as we speak, and I think this is the classic Beck introspective right now. I think I don't want to make TV like that, and that's why I can enjoy it like all the way. because it is so ridiculous and so crazy, and I know that I just wouldn't. I can, I feel like you do comedy and stuff, and then you have a hard time consuming other comedy because you're like, oh, I could do that, or this is what I would have done different. There's nothing I would have done different in Grey's Anatomy because I have no idea why they're doing any of it. And it's great.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just realized now I don't want to make that kind of TV, so I love it.
Yeah, so you can truly be an audience member, feel like you are being marketed to, even though I know you said you feel like you're not the demo, like you can just walk in and, because I mean, I don't know, when was the last time you actually went to a comedy show, bought a ticket and sat in the audience?
Oh God, bought a ticket?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I didn't buy a ticket because Grace got us in for free, but we saw Nick Kroll at BAM.
Oh, cool.
And that was fun. And I watched Langston, Kerman, and Nick Kroll, and it was really fun to sit and watch that. And that was good.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
yeah, but even that, it's like you are part of the, like, you know people there, and it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like friends with the guy on the stage, like with Langston, and it was like. That was fun, and we sat and we watched, but it was still like the same thing where it's like, well, if I were on this show, these are the jokes I would do, So there's always that.
I hope you told Nick Kroll that after the show.
No, he was fantastic.
You're like, excuse me, I have some notes. I have some tags for your jokes. No, I mean, then I feel like that makes a lot of sense, like you being invested in Shondaland, because it's like you get to just buy a ticket and sit in the audience, and even though you work in entertainment, I'm probably 24/7 because we have to like think about our careers and every move we make, and like, am I doing the right thing? You don't have to. You can just watch it, and it's not even like a moment where you're like you see your friend and you're happy for them, but they're on TV and you still feel jealous or whatever. Like, you don't have that with Shonda.
Yeah,
Shonda
there's no mixed emotions there. Like, I just love it. But I did think. I say I don't want to make TV like that. I did think of a storyline for Meredith Grey, and I'm going to write it down.
Okay.
We'll see what happens with that in the future. Probably nothing. And it'll probably be just on some strange blog or something.
Sometimes I find that, like, when I'm really stuck, and this was probably more in school when we had, like, assignments, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I would write a version of something that I like that, where I would never actually write this, but then I feel like I throw away like all my expectations of it needing to be good, and sometimes that's like the most fun thing to do. So that's interesting. I don't know, that's just a back pocket. Like, one time I just had writer's block and didn't want to do anything, but didn't want to feel unproductive, so I started writing a spec script for Thomas the Tank Engine as a CW show, just like a raunchy sex soap opera.
That's great.
I still kind of want to actually do a full thing of it just for fun, but
yeah, that's really funny.
It's just like so dumb that I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, it's easy because it's dumb. Yeah. I guess I want to ask, what do you like to write? Like, what are the kinds of stories? Or I don't know if you like have thought about it, but like, what is like a show you want to write?
I'm working on a few things that I'm going to pitch at some point, and so we don't have to get too much into them right now, but they're all like.
But just like the ideas, like the things that you, in terms of like, if Shonda's like high stakes, like sexy people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm mostly like in the TV space. I'm mostly like working on things that are more akin to sitcoms and like half-hour comedy kind of things. And then it's like writing screenplays and stuff with my friends. It's like I like funny action movies, and that's like no matter what I sit down to write, there's going to be elements that are like funny, and then elements of like exciting action, because I like the same way with Shondaland. It's like when I watch I love the movies that are nominated for Oscars, because like they're never funny.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
They're always so dramatic, and it's just like such a departure from like the place that I feel comfortable, at least at this stage of my life, that I'm like, this is totally refreshing to watch, except for the period pieces. I've never been able to get into that stuff.
Did you see Parasite?
I don't want to make that. I don't even want to watch it. I don't care.
Did you watch Parasite this year?
Yes, that was great.
I thought that was awesome. Really funny, but also
it was really funny. That one was really funny. That's like an exception. That was really funny and really action-packed, and I would want to make something like that. But I obviously, I went in, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even speak the language, and I was completely blown away, and all the twists and everything. So that was just a great movie.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Movie. Yeah, Parasite was an interesting one because it's like people still thought of it as foreign. I mean, I guess it is, but then I think because of that, like not a single actor got, I mean, this is me on my soapbox, but not a single actor got a nomination. And it's not because they were not good at acting. So that just made me be
No, they were great at acting. But I think that it being like having the language barrier, not being in English rather, I guess better way to put that, but it's like, was actually beneficial because like if it were in English, I feel like it would have been spoiled for so many more people.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's...
Like, you mean the plot twist?
The plot twist, yeah. I think the plot, because it was like it was like in limited release, and then it got slowly bigger, and it was like out for months and months before some people saw it, and it's like it wasn't, for the most part, I feel like it wasn't all that spoiled, and I don't know.
That was like an example of like when you want someone to watch someone's reaction, because I think I had such a strong reaction when I watched it that I was like, I want people to have this. So I watched it a few more times in theaters with friends like who wanted to go. I was like, I'll go with you, because it's so fun to watch people's reactions. I watched it the second time with Grace. I watched it one time alone or with my friend, and then I watched it at the house with Grace, and I did watch her reaction and stuff, and like she kind of didn't really want to see it, but then by the end she was like, that was very cool. And I was like, I know it was cool. Yeah, it's hard to like plug it to someone because you don't want to tell them too much, but you're like, just trust me, it's good.
Yeah, just trust me. Just check it
out. Okay, I want to ask one more thing, and then we'll play the game, because what you said reminded me, like...
I love games. I can't wait, Teresa.
I think you'll like this game, but I wanted to come back to your short, because we mentioned it earlier, and then we're talking about, like, the stories you like to write. Like, that is very funny, and for people who don't know, you guys should go watch it. Is it still online?
Yeah, it's still online. It's if you go to my website www.iamryanbeck.com, you can go and check out the Choose Your Own Adventure
We'll put it in
video.
the comments, but it's about a couple breaking up, but you can select, like, Choose Your Own Adventure, basically select what to say, and the idea is kind of like when you feel like you can go back and like, oh, if I had said this, would that have, gone differently? And I really love that, and I brought it up because I feel like it's funny, but also like very like kind of serious in a way, and a little sad if you. It's real, it's grounded.
I was really proud of that thing, and we did it such a long time ago, and then Netflix started doing these interactive things, and like they tried to do it in other different ways, but it's like it has to be short. It has to be like the moments that you click have to be really like close together. So people are actually engaged. But it's like, I saw this software that basically, like when I was working this horrible office job, I saw this software that was like used for, selling people insurance, and also it was like to help people save for their 401ks and stuff. And it was like this interactive thing where you like click a thing and then it brings up another video file, and you click another thing and it brings up another video file. And I was like, okay, so that's really cool software. What if you could do that with a comedy? And so I got together with Will Winter and Ari Finling and Randy Rubin, and so many other people helped us produce it. But it was like we just figured out, we wrote one thing and it was way too big and expensive to do, and then we like pared it down to like, okay, what if you were getting broken up with, and like you had different ways to try to mitigate that, and that's kind of how it came about.
That's so cool. I didn't know you took the software from like it wasn't a thing that was...
Yeah, it wasn't like, because when I found it in 2015, and like it wasn't a bigger entertainment company at that point. Like, there was like that Bob Dylan music video that kind of went viral where you could like flip through, and that was like using that software. But I initially saw it for like 401k stuff, and just had like a little light bulb in my head where I was like, oh, what if you could do this with like anything people cared about?
That's so cool.
It was cool, and I was hoping that it would like be something that like made me big time hireable person, but like it was just it's just a nice thing in the body of work, and I'm really proud of it, and I'm like happy that we did it.
Yeah, and because it's still out there, it's like people can always come back and look. But yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes you're like, this is the thing.
This is the thing, but no, it's not. Like that's a life lesson. It's like there's no the thing. You just continue to work and have fun.
I probably felt that way a little bit about my short that we put out last year. Like we did have some success in terms of like festivals, but to me, I was like, oh my God, finally, like, I'm going to get job offers. Yeah. I'm going to get a writing job. I'm going to be able to, like, sell a show. And then it was like, people are like, cool, great. All right, now that you're here, keep doing that for, like, 10 more years.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh,
exactly.
Okay, cool.
Just, that's like The beauty of living your life as an artist is like the real answer is just continue to enjoy yourself and make things.
Yeah.
And you get older and you appreciate it more, I think. Hopefully.
Well, you just shed, like, that was just like dropping Midwestern parent, like, wisdom right there. Okay, let's play a game.
Yes, games.
Okay, this is called, it's inspired by Baby Lily the dog, which is your dog, on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's called Doing It for the Clout. So if you guys don't know, Ryan and Grace have a very cute puppy or dog. She's a grown-up dog, but she looks like a puppy.
She's a grown dog now, but she looks like a puppy, and her Instagram is @BabyDogLily, and you guys can enjoy that.
Yeah, so. She's very cute, and so I assume, well, she's cute on the internet. I assume in real life. I don't know these days.
Cute in real life.
Fake and real news.
On the leash.
You know, we don't know.
Just like goes nuts.
But you might know a thing or two about Instagram animals. And these days.
Oh my God, I don't. Well, this will be fun.
Okay, it's easy to play if you don't. Actually, it's more fun if you don't. But it's inspired by the fact that you have an Instagram animal. And nowadays, like, anybody pretty much can be an influencer. I mean, there's a robot that just got signed to CAA.
Yeah, what the hell was that? What does that even mean? I don't even understand what that means. How are they putting out music? It's a company? Why not just hire the company? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, that's a whole different conversation. But I love AI and robots. The short answer is, like, she's out there doing a lot of cool shit that other people can't. But yeah, she's fake. But she's real. She's real, but she's fake.
I don't understand, and it threatens my existence.
She has writers, just the way an Instagram influencer would write their own profile. Like, in a way, it's a character you create. I think it's like that, except people follow her thinking tongue-in-cheek, but then at the end of the day, like, she can still sell stuff to you. So who's actually winning? I don't know. But we won't get into robots. I feel like that's a very long conversation. I just brought her up as an example. But yeah, just like, you know, there's a lot of, Bitcoin is a lot like Instagram. You know, there's a lot of clout to be mined. Most of the time, it just ruins your personality when you try. So in this game, I'm going to list basically a name of an influencer, and you have to guess if it's an animal or human. I'll give you a few hints.
Oh, this will be great.
Yeah, the hints I'll give you, I'll read some captions from photos. So that's a little bit of a hint. And if there is like a name of an animal in the name, I'll take it out. So it's just like first names, just to keep it simple.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great.
So the first one is Juniper with 2.9 million followers. And here's a couple captions. Okay, here's the first one. Sun rays kiss your face like they always have done and they always do for you. And am learning to like this planet and always smiling. Is this an animal or a human?
Human being.
It's actually an animal. It's a fox, Juniper the fox. And it's a fox that's the happiest fox, always smiling. It kind of has like a face, yeah. But good guess. Juniper would be a good
I thought it was a
name.
Human because of the sun kiss.
Well, it is a human writing these captions, but the picture is of a fox.
Yes, clearly. But I thought it was a human because I was like imagining that it was like probably like a girl with a big floppy hat.
Yeah.
That's what I had in mind.
Mm-hmm. Good. That wouldn't be a bad guess. Okay, number 2, Jill with 741,000 followers. Here's the first caption. Hair by Jill, because these are desperate times. To all the hairstylists, colorists, and hair magicians, know that you are missed. Every day we choose love and winter layers.
Okay, it really feels like it should be a human because it's like talking about like hair professionals and like clothes. And so I want to think that it's not a trick. I'm going to say that it's a human being.
Ryan, you should have learned. It's a squirrel. It's a squirrel. This is Jill the squirrel. It's Jill the squirrel, and the hair by Jill is a picture of the squirrel like on a very messy woman's hair. And so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, clever. And okay, so let's see if you can get this next one. This is Summer with 2 million followers, and here are a few captions. October can't come soon enough. This is my new companion kitty. Name suggestions? He's a boy, by the way. And should I bring back the purple hair?
Okay, this has to be a human because she has a companion kitty and purple hair. And who's dyeing a dog or cat or a grizzly bear's hair purple? It's a weird color to dye an animal's hair if you're going to dye an animal's hair at all. But everything else has been animals. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going to human again.
You're correct. This is Summer McKean. She's a 19. I guess she's maybe 20 now. She just had a birthday. She's an Instagram influencer, 2 million followers. Wow. But I do think she wrote dis like DIS, so, could be a dog. We don't know. Ghostwriter. Okay, I have a few more. This one is Tara Milk Tea with 1.3 million followers. Here's a few captions. Bloom where you are planted. Bed is my best friend. And thankful for the rain.
Okay, that feels like it should be an animal. Because animals like rain and like to look at it. And they love beds. But I love my bed too. And also the rain. I'm going to go with animal.
Incorrect. It's a human. Tara Milk Tea is a travel writer with 1.3 million followers. And just, not a great caption writer, but a lot of followers, though.
She writes like an animal.
Okay, this is the final one. Not looking too hot for you, Ryan, but that's okay.
I got one? 1 out of 4?
You got 1 out of 4. But you know what? That's okay. It just shows that you're, staying present in life and not on Instagram. So that's probably a good thing.
Hey, sure.
Okay, here's the final one. Tika with 188,000 followers. Here's a few captions. Of all the snacks you had this quarantine, I'm the yummiest. Pairing my tie-dye onesie with a denim cap always makes me smile, literally, with peace emoji and a hat emoji. And receiving negative comments is never fun, but reading through all of your positive comments really made me feel special.
Okay, I'm going to go with a human because they expressed insecurity in that last thing that you said. And they also have a onesie with a cap. And if anybody put their animal, whatever kind of animal, in a onesie and a denim hat, there is call to be they need to just be arrested and put on some kind of fashion police trial or something. So I'm going to go with a human.
I'm sorry, Ryan, you're incorrect. I guess we should call the cops. Oh my God. This is Tika the Iggy. It's a very cute Iggy, which is kind of I don't know what that, it's kind of like a small greyhound looking dog with its tongue out. It's kind of got a weird tongue, but it's very cute. And I guess they're haters. I don't know. I mean, obviously the human wrote that, but who is sending a dog a hate message?
Who's talking shit on this dog? Tika
crazy.
The Iggy.
Yeah, and the denim hat is real. There is a picture of Iggy wearing a tie-dye onesie and a denim hat. So I encourage you guys to check that out.
I have to find this right now. This is crazy.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for
playing.
Look
at this thing.
Oh, did you see it?
He has a denim hat.
I can't see. You're still frozen, but I imagine your face is lighting up watching this Tika profile.
I'm sorry that I'm frozen, Teresa.
Oh, no, it's okay. I love this dog.
What is this? It's like a little greyhound?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't know what it was either.
This dog looks like a stick.
It's very cute, but ugly cute, if that makes sense.
It looks like that. What's that? In Ice Age, John Leguizamo.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, it looks like John Leguizamo in Ice Age, whatever that thing is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The sloth.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you lost the game, but as a consolation prize, you can share with the listeners where to find you or anything you want to plug.
Okay, find me at I Am Ryan Beck on all platforms. Go to the website to see the interactive thing, and you can also listen to Grace and my podcast, Falling in Love with My Wife, everywhere that you get podcasts, everywhere that you get this podcast, wherever. And we also have an Instagram for that, which is at Grace Ryan Podcast. So, nice. I mean, we're out there, man.
Yeah, go listen. You can follow this podcast at Tell Me Anything Pod and follow me at Larissa T on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks so much. And thanks for coming on the show, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This was a blast.